Hi guys, welcome to another episode on Career Talks where we talk about your highs and lows in your career journey. And here with me today is Jide Ayeni, a security incident response engineer. Jide, please introduce yourself.
So hi guys, my name is Babajide Ayeni and Samuel. Any order you want to put it in. So just as Key said, I'm a security incident response engineer. Basically, anything else
Yeah,
that you need to add?
if you like, that's fine. So yeah. So before we dive into today's question,
Okay,
would go with icebreakers first.
sure.
And the first question on my list here is salt or pepper?
Ah, that one hard though. It's quite difficult. Well, it depends. I'll take salt. I'm not the biggest fan of pepper, even if I'm your bro, but I just think salt just makes more sense because you can add salt to usually anything, even the pepper you still add
So
salt to the pepper.
yeah, fair
So
enough.
yeah.
Fair enough. All right, thank you for that. Then, what is a surprising thing on your bucket list?
Hmm. Ah, let me see. I really have surprising thing.
Like something
Maybe
people wouldn't expect, you to have on your bucket list.
I think what's that thing called? Is it kayaking? No.
Oh,
And
kayak.
also
The
no,
not that
it's like when you're on the
you're rolling on water.
water and yeah, then they
Yes,
hang you in
it's
the air. I think that's something I might try, or the one jump off the cliff. Just because I love it. Wouldn't it,
skydiving.
no, no, not skydiving. I had a bad experience with that, the indoor one. So
Oh,
and they
okay,
hurt
okay.
my back, so I'm like, nah. But just basically, the I think bungee jump too.
Oh, okay.
Either one of those two. I think that's something I might give a try. And maybe hot air balloon.
Yeah, I think watermelon is not bad. It's like you're
If you
in.
have
It's
phobia for heights, man,
fair
you
enough.
feel
Fair
faint.
enough. True.
You
True.
just so I
True.
think one of those ones would. Those are like literally on my bucket list, but not known to a lot of people. So
Even it's new to me. Like it's first time I'm hearing that.
it's
It's
not
new
known
to
by
me.
yeah. So it just depends.
All
Just
right.
depends.
Thank you so much for that. So this question, if your job was a video game, what would it be?
Hmm.
I know you play games a lot, so what game is it gonna be?
Man, yes, man. I would have to
FIFA
get
25.
my job can't be like for 25, man. It's literally like let me see. I'm trying to see the game that gives it more room or makes more sense to it.
Okay.
So it's just basically let's call it COD in a
Oh,
way.
Call of
I
Duty, yeah.
think just for the lack of other games, because all the
Okay.
games have gone out of my head. But like then again, I'll say Call of Duty because basically it's like you having to chase something, or you could say racing too, in a way, because you're chasing after something. You need to get to the future. You need to find something, or
Yeah.
more like adventure games. Put it that way. Yes,
Adventure.
yes, that is the
Uh,
word. Because for adventure, you get to a stage, you need to find some set of information
to
to
move to
get
the
to the
next
other
stage, yeah.
stage to solve a problem. That's how I would describe my job in a way.
Oh, that's cool. So the next one is drama or comedy.
Hmm. I think I'm more of a comedy person. Depends when some as you grow that your sense of
It
humor
changed, yeah.
changes.
I
Yeah,
know, I
so
know.
there's some things you find funny that you don't find funny, but I think more of comedy because man, you need a good laugh mm,
True, true, true.
here and there. So
Life is hard enough.
this life is too serious. I mean,
All
yeah.
right, thank you. Okay, so the next question is if your workplace had
hmm
an official motto, what would it be?
Oh man, let me see. I think if we had an official man, it would be vibes on inshallah,
why
man.
why is that?
No, like just maybe majorly for me. I just feel like with my workplace, it's very chilled. It's just like just get your job done. Nobody's on your neck. Nobody's pressing you. Just come to work, do your job. Like people there are really chilled. Everyone just connects on that kind of level.
Yeah,
For me, that's why I would say it's vibes and inshallah. Like it's just all
no
good vibes.
stress. No stress.
Well, there's stress. Well,
No, I
it's not
mean like
stress that
not
would
stress like
stress
yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like man, just get your job done. That's what everyone
Just
wants majorly.
the truth is, all jobs there is always stress. Like you're
Yeah,
definitely going to be
but
stressed in
we
all
don't
jobs,
have
but
that
not
level of, how do I put it? Like, they
not
are
an
pressing
extreme.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, man, if you're good at what you do, if you know what you need to do, get it done. Like, everybody is quite independent on their own enough to know
Hmm.
what they need to do. So it's like you don't need to be chasing people to get things done.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. All right, so let's get into the questions now. So the first question on my list here is, what is a defining moment in your career journey, and how did your first job shape your professional outlook?
Hmm. This is quite it's a lovely question, by the way, but very open-ended question. Let me see. How did my first journey? I think I'll let's go back a bit, to the past.
Hmm.
While just growing up, like I think I was such a curious type of child, and just in terms of being very curious about certain things, especially with gadgets. And I think kids are just that way. But like, some people, like, I felt like I was to the extreme. And then again, just having siblings and, like, my dad, he kind of just did also invest in those in my curiosity.
Okay.
So I remember back then I had like a Windows XP and like had pairs, had some different ass games. And I know my dad then he'll be like, when you do well in school, like get
Oh,
money to buy new
new
computer games.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was such a nice motivation, like for me each time. So he always got me to work hard. But like, as you grow up, like you start to change. I thought my career took a different turn entirely because I was always thinking, oh, I'm probably going to flying because like it's literally what the family does, like,
Uh,
family of pilots. But when you think about it, I just took a U-turn after college, and I was just like, you know what, I would rather just stick to what I feel like I already know, which is like I was so used to computers and
computer. Yeah.
everything, so which pushed me down that path. And then in terms of my first job, was an internship with Medview Airlines. I don't think they're operational in Nigeria anymore, but like, so shout out to them for giving me the opportunity to, work with them
Hmm.
because it was just pretty much I gained a lot of tech support experience there, fixing things, networking, patching updates of system, just dealing with the typical user queries, and then just editing some firewall rules to prevent our lovely users from reaching out to their popular websites such as YouTube, Facebook, and the likes. Like, so that shaped my journey and shaped my curiosity in terms of how I proceeded to, come into the whole full tech stack experience that I currently have now. So I'd say that was like kind of one very major moment. But like the defining moment was maybe also getting out of Nigeria to come here to Ireland,
Hmm.
which kind of opened another door of, you know, opportunities and just kind of shaped how I got a lot of experience within Ireland and just shaped how you saw tech in a whole. And at that point, at the moment when I moved here to tech had started to gather a lot of wind,
Hmm.
and it's just like you came at the opportune moment, at the right moment. So that's kind of one major decision that shaped how my career turned out to at the moment. So,
All right, thank you. So you mentioned that coming to Ireland also uh helped in shaping your career.
Mhm.
So now, because of that, have you faced a major failure in job applications, and how did you work around that?
Um, so just yeah, like to be honest, you would always have lows, highs. You have some losses, you have some wins. You don't always
Hmm.
win in life. That's the truth. Like I understood this from a very young age, and even up until doing masters and everything, you don't always win. So I can't remember. I applied to 1,001 jobs. Like
Yeah.
trust me, I was there applying, applying, applying. So, but like I think what I always say to people, and I'm like, don't give up that hope. Like
Yeah.
because each
Consistent.
rejection I get, it was just like a fall for me going back to apply again. Like, and then again, you have to kind of shape your understanding about certain things. Like, once you're exposed to some things, you know that, okay, this interview, what exactly happened? Why didn't I get the job? Like,
Yeah.
I think self evaluation is very important when you do interviews. Like,
Mm,
if you don't self evaluate yourself and be very honest with yourself, you would never ever really cross that hurdle. But the fact that if you're always honest with yourself, that, oh, this interview, did I answer their questions correctly? Did I give them what they're looking for? Did I market myself properly? You know, you answering those questions in that manner would kind of shape how you respond and go back to the next interview. So you find yourself improving little by little. And I'm not going to say you might do all these things and still not get the job, but another big factor for me always is, God, to be honest. Put your faith in God. There's no way nothing would not go your way if you trust and believe in
God.
God. Like, because you have to, I say, faith without works is dead. I've
Yeah,
done the work. God just puts the finishing touch on
on
top
it.
for me, and that's it. And that's always works for me. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. So, in light of what you just said now,
Mm-hmm.
saying you need that self evaluation when you maybe get a rejection for any job interview. So now that leads me to this question: what is the best decision you've made in your career journey?
Hmm. Interesting. Probably maybe the best decision I've made was in 2023 December. No,
Okay,
actually before December. It was just me leaving um my old company, which is EY, to move to Autodesk. I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made because, like, after like the whole graduate program and everything, I came to a realization of, you know, that in terms of cybersecurity is very wide. Like, there's different domains of cybersecurity. It's like, it's like for 2 years I was chasing ghosts. So which means I didn't know what area of cybersecurity I wanted to settle into.
okay,
So, well, it's like after that 2 year mark, like a few months after, it's like I had finally come to terms that, okay, I've seen a
in the
lot of
area.
different domains, and incident response is domain I choose to go down. And I, poured my resources, poured my sweat into that pathway, and I ended up getting a job with
Okay,
Autodesk,
that's
and which was that was like a really really big decision I made, and for me it was one of the best decisions I feel like I've made so far. Like, it's going so well. It's been a huge learning curve, but like it's also been a really good journey for me so far that has kind of shaped a lot of the way I see things and see the other domains of cybersecurity. So, yeah.
okay. Thank you so much. So, I guess that you've worked in more than one company as of now.
Yeah.
So now, in what way do you think complaints can, create a better work environment?
Um, I think maybe the biggest one in terms of creating a better work environment is to trust your employees
Hmm.
to a degree, to invest in them. Like, and I'm not just talking about, oh, just see, like, the two companies I worked with, they are very big on that,
Okay.
like, which was EY and Autodesk. They were very big on, self investment into the individual. But like, I believe when a company gives that room for, like, looking at the individual and having like a great plan for that individual, like, kind of helps the company in the longer run, because that way you're not only just investing in the person, but like you're also investing back in the company, because the better they get, the more they're able to deliver for the organization. Do you get? So it's
Sorry, what do you mean by group plan?
no, I didn't say good plan. I said the more. What do you mean good plan? Sorry.
You mentioned group plan earlier.
No, I said having a growth plan.
Oh, growth plan. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, yeah,
sorry.
like growth plan, like, in terms of, okay, this individual starts at this point. Where do we need him to
To
be in
be
the next
next one
year
year or
or
something.
next year?
Okay.
So that having that growth plan helps a lot. Like, it knows where the organization wants you to be, wants the skills they want you to
To
have.
have, yeah,
Yeah, and that kind of shapes how much the organization would grow also, because the more individuals grow, the more the company too grows as a whole. And in cyber is more like you need to invest in
yeah,
skill
yeah,
set to allow, like, from someone that didn't know anything about vulnerability management to leading a vulnerability management
project.
project.
Yeah.
Like, that's big growth, and because you've invested so much in that, like they're able to fix different problems, not only just on that level, but on a different level too. So,
All right.
yeah.
And so, in light of that, right, you've worked with a lot of people,
Hmm.
and in both companies. So this question is about how do you have you ever worked with difficult colleague or boss, and how did you manage that?
Um. So I think working with difficult people is inevitable, to be
Mhm.
honest. Like that's just the reality of life. Like whether you like it or not, you always meet people that are like that will make your work very difficult. But
I
like
know, right?
it's I believe if I remember correctly, while working, I was working on a client project then in my past job, and I recall like I was trying to handle like some. I was handling the pen testing project for them. And I recall this guy had come to us. We need a pen test, blah blah blah. And just as the normal process is for my side, where I'm like, yo, okay, what type of pen test do you need? Is it a gray box pen test, a black box type of pen test? And it was like a black box kind of pen test. I was like, we need to do this ASAP. I'm like, okay, I get you. Can you fill the form? It took me more than 2 weeks to chase this guy to actually complete the pen test request form,
Yeah.
and where he's supposed to like kind of supply us with the necessary credentials and information needed for the pen test for me to speak to the pen testers and organize this. So I was so confused why he took so long. And for him, it was like this thing was needed like as
Immediately.
at last week. And I'm like, but I sent you the form as at when you requested, when you spoke to us saying you did the pen test. So I was a bit confused, but like, in terms of not to escalate the matter, I
Hmm.
just literally had a conversation with my manager back then, and I was just like, this was what the story was. He came to us, he said this, but like he never acted on it, even when I followed up with him. So it was more like a thing of, pointing fingers, but like I just like I'll say I learned a very valuable lesson in terms of just having to. I know not a lot of people approve of always CCing managers of the person's manager, but man, I've learned that lesson. CC the manager, man.
So is that going to make them do their job
No,
faster
but
or?
like it's more like a nice way to escalate, because that way you would know, like once you have the manager CC'd or copied in the
Yeah,
email or where the request from, like you've done your own part as what you're supposed to, but like no,
it's left for the
it's
other
left to.
person. Yeah,
So the fact that if it goes like, oh, this project didn't
didn't go through on
go through
time.
on time, his manager can see in the request you never responded to that email, you never
Yeah,
copied all of us. Even if you like, some people would respond and remove
the manager
but like it's gonna be like, oh, the first question the manager is gonna be like is, did you respond
go
to
to
that
that email.
email?
Yeah, true,
So
true.
that way it's more like that. That's just what I learned a really hard way. Like, and it was even from a colleague of mine that just advised me. He said, yo, always CC, like have an email train sorry
Thread, email
thread,
thread.
yeah,
Yeah,
thread, but have a, like, something you can go over and say, yo, but I said this here, it kind of covers your
like a
back. And
reference of you're on point. Like you've done your own part.
part.
So yeah,
Yeah, like because at the end of the day, companies are you're individuals, not, so it's gonna be like everybody's gonna be like, who are we pointing to?
yeah,
So you might
exactly.
just want to be out of the position there. So that's kind of how I dealt with that situation. So, but I think other than that, like when I see difficult, I'm just a very chilled person. I'm a chilled guy. I don't like wahala. So
Okay.
once you give me that vibe, I just know that okay, I just let you do what you want to
Oh,
do, and
okay.
then I just
Once you're
do
once
what
you're
needs to be done.
once you're ready, you come back to me with what
Yeah,
you need.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally how life should be like. Just be like, I'm a chill guy. I don't like wahala. Nice one.
Okay. That's good. Thank you so much. So,
Yeah.
can you share a high and a low moment from your career that taught you a valuable lesson?
Hmm. Maybe let's think about the low
Okay.
first before going to the high. The low was I think there was a period in my career where it felt like you're just there. You're not progressing. You're
Nothing
not
is
doing
happening.
anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So another point. So I remember I'd written an exam. I'd failed. So like everything was just going. It was going south. To be honest, like even to the part where like I think the then manager I was reporting to, like he had to escalating, or like feel like this person has not gotten a hang of this job. And it was obviously like, but it was very sad to hear. Like, as far imagine that's kind of feedback you got from your
The
manager.
manager,
Like,
yeah.
it's very demotivating. And I didn't feel like, you know, the manager did help in that manner because, I think in his own head, it's just like, oh, you should know why you're here, blah, blah. Like, obviously, I am, but I'm at the end of the day, I'm still a grad. And I remember what the director said to me, who was like the director of our department, and he was like, he's a graduate, he'll get it. Like, he's not
Just give him
supposed to be
time.
perfect.
Yeah.
Like, those words, but like, also, I'm not saying the way in which my then manager did say it, but like, I just felt like, they could have been
There are
ways that
better
could have,
ways to, yeah.
yeah. So, but for me, that was a really low moment in my career. Um, and it's just what I did after then, like, because as I said, it still boils down to what I said initially about self evaluation. Am I doing enough?
Mm-hmm.
Am I really putting in the work? So,
Are you at your best
if
at
you
the time?
can answer those questions
Yeah.
yourself honestly, without, without lying to yourself, then you know what you need to do. So that's kind of just how I took the mantle, and then, just got down to grinding again. For the high, I think the high was maybe more recently in, what month are we in? February. Yeah,
Yeah.
February was like my exams, and like those exams stress the living daylight out of me. Like, because if you're in the incident response field, like there's this set of exams that are like, they are like literally up there. It's like a
Waiting for
specialist
you.
exam, let's put it that way. So,
Yeah.
and I had like 4 months to prepare for this, but like, in between works, other things,
Yeah,
just life in
it's
general,
terrible, yeah.
it's so hard. And like, that's why I'd given up. But I was like, maybe I'll just postpone this exam. But then again, you can't just, even if you postpone it, then you
You
still
still
have
have to
to
do
write
it,
it.
yeah.
So I just had to lock in very hard. Like, when I look at those results of that exam, I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
I worked hard for this and I
your,
know I
your
got
time
it.
was
Like,
worth it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really motivating that it pushes you to want to, do more and learn more. So that's kind of like a really, really high moment for me, I think. Back then.
All right. And the example you shared about the exam now leads to this question.
Okay.
How do you keep up with the trend and changes in your industry? So because like I know cybersecurity is always changing. There are
Changing.
new
Yeah.
things, so how do you keep?
Um, First things first, I'll just say I'm on like this nice new initiative. Shout out to Docker Boys. That's a very nice new initiative that my guy put me on, and to be honest, it's a really nice way that I'm keeping up with the recent change. In the past, it would have been more like podcast, LinkedIn. I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. Just looking at posts, looking at what's happening in the market. Have a ton of what was it called, newsletters that I get sent
Hmm.
by the Sans institution and some other people. So, but I'm just really so big on them LinkedIn and Twitter. Like those are like my news feed for my feed are literally just cybersecurity
Cybersecurity.
based, even in terms of learning. So I'm also big on learning too because that's just how I can keep myself really active and knowing different things. So I think that's just some of the ways that I've like kept up to date. But like the most recent was Docker Boys, which I found extremely, extremely, useful, building like a home lab, just testing out things on your
On
own
your own, yeah. I think
kind of
that's
helps boost your knowledge to a degree that you wouldn't even think, like, even it exposes you to more things than you'll be exposed to at work,
yeah.
because like you're literally in control of the scenario, the case, like, and you just create it and build it how you want. So
Mm, that's
yeah,
good.
that's pretty much the way I did.
All right. Thank you so much. And now this question goes take us to networking. What role does networking play in your success?
Hmm. I think it's very important to network. If you know me, you know I'm such a big advocate of networking on LinkedIn. Like, meet this guy, message this guy if you need a referral. Like, it's really good because that way you keep you learn off people, and
Hmm.
you also are able to link other people with the people that they need to link. You might just be that, you know, that middleman that
Middleman,
gives
yeah.
someone the opportunity of a lifetime. Like I can't count how many people have said, oh, maybe to reach out to this guy. I know he does this or something of this concepts like
Yeah.
in the past, and it's really worked out for them. Or someone is like, oh, I think I need a referral for this role. I'm like, okay, chill. Let me see who I have. Like I literally pull out my phone. Like, let me see who I have on a network that will be able to help you do this. And I like if I didn't have that network, I wouldn't have been able to
To help other
help the
people.
person. But
Yeah.
like me just being in that position puts me at such places. So I believe in networking. Like on LinkedIn, you connect with person, drop a message, be like, "Oh hi, share profile." Just I'm in this field too. Like because I've been there once. So when people buzz me on LinkedIn, I don't air it. I literally would respond. Like it
Respond, yeah.
depends on what you're looking for, to be honest. So, and I just make sure that because I know I've been in that position to where I've had to reach out to someone.
Somebody, yeah.
And me, I'm so straightforward. If and I'm shameless, let me just call it that. When I need to get something, I'm
You tell you
shameless
straight
about.
up.
I will message you. I don't care if I don't know you for madam. I'll just be like, yo, I need help. I'm stuck here. I'm trying to apply for this. I'm trying to do this. Is there any way you can assist? Is there any way you can give me pointers? Like,
Yeah.
it's very important. Like, the first thing is like, I think when it comes to networking, just swallow your pride, to be honest,
Mm.
and just
Be
go with a
immediately.
humble approach. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you had number of years of experience. You see, the person doesn't really have that experience, but the person is doing what you need. You go to
Then
the
just ask
person.
the
It doesn't
person,
really
yeah.
matter. Yeah,
So
that's.
if you ask somebody for something and the person does not respond or airs you, so
I'm
what?
not bad blood now. You keep it moving. You'll find someone else that will respond to you.
Mm.
Like people are not like it just depends on the approach. Like you then again, I would also throw a note of caution. Like you shouldn't have an entitlement when you boss someone. You don't know how his life is. You don't know if he's active. You don't know if he's not active. You don't know what's going on behind doors.
Okay,
So
that's true.
that sense of entitlement, please remove it. Remove it. Nobody's entitled to answer you to or network with you. It's a choice that they choose
To respond.
to
Yeah.
respond. So like note of caution there. Just
Okay, thank
yeah.
you so much, Jide. And so this question says, what motivates you to keep pushing forward in your career?
Money. Yeah, money aside, but let's not lie, money is
What is
the
part?
main motivation. But money aside, it's just the ability to learn and to transfer knowledge. I think
Hmm.
those are two things I'm quite big on. Like I feel like when I learn something, I'm always so curious to share it
Share
with
with
another
somebody
person.
else.
That's just how I am. That's
Hmm.
my nature in general. Like when I do something, I figure something out, I'm so excited about it. It's like I want you to feel the type of excitement I'm feeling. Like when you figure out the problem and you have that solution, like there's this endomorphins that go into your system that you're just
You
so
want everybody to know that
excited.
I'm able
Yeah,
to solve this. This is what I can
that
do. This is what I've
that
learned and
excitement
all of
puts
that.
you on it. That's why when I see some people that teach, that's why a part of me feels like I might just end up going down that path. But there are other factors to it. But like it's just now I understand how some lecturers will teach, and when they see the result, they're always like, did a
Yeah.
good job.
I,
Yeah,
I
yeah, that
thought
kind
I
of
thought that
thing.
you could deliver what I've taught
Yeah,
you.
it's and then again I see the pain in their face when you don't deliver or you
Deliver,
don't
yeah.
meet expectation, so those are the things that kind of motivate me to stay so excited, stay so grounded in my role, and literally learn and just pick up new things as you go along. That's kind of how I define it.
Okay. All right. So now, because you said you like teachers, because they're able to transfer knowledge. So now that leads me to this question. If you could trade jobs with so let me I'll take that again. If you could trade jobs for a day, what would it be and why?
Hmm.
Are you going to go into teaching?
Well, teaching is not bad to be honest. But maybe not. Maybe maybe not. But the reason is because like there are too many factors you can't control when it comes to teaching. Like
Okay.
it's an unknown field. Like you might as well think you're teaching in the proper manner, but there's one student that's probably not gaining anything from you teaching.
Mm,
So that's I don't like the variables there that you can't control. So
okay.
maybe if I were to switch jobs, I would say flying,
You'll
being
be a
pilot,
pilot.
and obviously, as I said, just because of my family, just being like, yeah, I've had like the feel of saying in the cockpit, seeing how some things are done, landing gear, all those whatever, whatever. But you having to do it yourself and just landing the plane, it's just mental. It's like they do it like back of their hands, like
Yeah,
it's
true. Well,
just as if they're driving a car, like literally. So that would have been something I would have loved to try and just see how it feels.
okay, that's good. Thank you. So this question is like this. This next question is like the previous question, but uh, a little bit
Really
different.
twist to it.
So imagine money wasn't an issue.
Mm-hmm.
What passion project or dream career would you pursue? If money was not an issue. You don't have to worry about money. Just do something.
Hmm. Seems like me, I'll stick to this my answer because to go to flying school is very expensive. You have to hold.
That's why money is not an issue.
No, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, that's the reason I said I'll stick to
Okay,
that my
okay.
answer because since money is not an issue, like, literally go and learn it. Get your type rating and just fly commercial. But like, I think those are it's as I said again, it's just one of the exciting things that I would have loved to do in the past. Even if money was not an objective or an issue. Yes, I would.
Pilot.
Yeah.
Okay. Pilot Jide.
Is it not biology? Of course not. Captain.
All right, thank you. And okay, so if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of career advice,
Hmm.
what would it be?
Hmm. If I could go back to my younger self, invest in Bitcoin when it was cheaper.
This is the
Then.
second time. This is the second time I've gotten that answer.
You
Invest in
know what?
Bitcoin.
No, but like, yeah, actually, it would have been, pour a lot of investment into, but like then again, if I could have gone back in the past to, would have been to, stick to your talent that you were given by God,
Hmm.
like because I was quite athletic, so I was like, I felt like I probably, if I was more aware of that,
You've been in
like
sports.
you feel like you're quick, but like you don't come to that realization on time till like people are saying it to you, but then you still don't come to that realization till like it's a bit too late,
Hmm.
like for you to turn back the hands of time. And then again, the exposure from parents also, like because parents are just like, eh, sports is not a career, blah 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 blah. But hey, yeah, we're seeing sports make waves
Like
across
a
the
lot of
globe.
money, yeah.
Yeah, so I think those two would have been like the major advice, and I would have given to myself, and maybe even passed the message across to my dad, like invest in this boy's sport career.
Yeah.
Could have been different. Yeah, could have been a different story entirely. But hey, you can't go
Can't
back to the
turn. Yeah,
past.
you
Yeah, you
can't turn
can't
the.
turn back the hands
Yeah.
of time. But like it's just what it is.
All right. We are coming to the end of today's episode, and this question is: what is a key takeaway you hope the audience would carry with them after listening to this episode?
Hmm. Um. The key takeaway would just be for me self evaluation.
Evaluation.
Just always evaluate yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself. You can lie to everybody else, but don't lie to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. Like, if you're not honest, you can be dishonest to everybody, but if you're not honest with yourself,
That you
then you're
won't
only
improve.
just doing
Yeah.
yourself because you never improve. You never get out of that headspace. Like, you just have to be really, really, really open and honest. Like, lay it out to yourself. Oh, I don't know this thing. I don't know this thing. So what do I need to do to know this thing? Okay, I need to go and ask this person that knows this thing. Like, swallow your pride. That's also another big one. Swallow your pride, man. Be humble. Like, to be honest, being even as the Bible says, when the humble shall inherit the kingdom
Kingdom of
of
God.
God.
Yeah.
Literally, man, just be humble, man. Be humble.
All right.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. The last question
Hmm.
is what is next for you,
Hmm.
and where can people follow your journey or connect with you?
So maybe let's take the follow journey. You can find me on LinkedIn, Samuel Ayeni on LinkedIn. Add me up. That's the only, I use LinkedIn a lot, so I'll see your request and I'll accept. Trust me, and you can shoot me a message. In terms of what's next, I think for me it's just basically always going back to the drawing board again,
Mm.
covering gaps, adding new knowledge. I believe that's kind of just what I'm doing at the moment. And I'm trying to actually document this also, just if someone is in a similar shoe where like you're stuck, where you don't know what direction to go, you can always just have a look and be like, yo, okay, I've seen someone that is in a similar position. That actually does remind me. There was someone that reached out to myself. I felt like he was in a similar position as myself when I was in EY, where he didn't know what to do. And I was just like, yo, bro, lock in one thing, follow it to the letter, like craft your skills, your
To the
techniques,
end, yeah.
everything across that. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty much what's next for me, and just seeing where the wind blows with what new knowledge I've picked up and the new skills I've learned. So to just maybe for having this conversation will be a different, in a different light again. So, but we'll see about that. Sha.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you, Jide, for coming on today's episode.
All right, guys.
And we've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you,
Please
guys.
don't forget to subscribe and like. See you in the next episode.
All right. Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Bye.